morning, Lynn. So nice to see you. Not see you, but know that you're there. And Nancy, good morning. No, low back. Good morning, Lynn. So both of the Lyns are here. Mhm. That's great. Nice to have you. So we have a low back stretch request, which honestly, Nancy, I'm sure a lot of people want that. That is definitely something that most of us need. So that'll be a part of today. And I was working with a girl who's getting her yoga therapy certification. I'm mentoring her. And she was saying that it was low back, the client she had. And I said, well, remember, we have to look to the neighbors. So when there's a joint, the joint, the low back, there's joints, right? That's the lower lumbar spine. We have to look at the neighbors. So what's happening in the hip joint? What's happening further up the spine. And so that's part of it as well, is loosening up what leads to that low back. So we will definitely do that. All right, any more requests before I go back there? Because I cannot see from back there. And so I won't be able to answer any questions. But if you have anything you wanted to say, you could speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. So let me go back to my post. All right. So yoga for wellness. Oh, wait, one more. Sharon, good morning. All right. First of all, thank you for being here. Those of you that are my regulars, where was I last night? I was somewhere last night. Oh, I know. I was at an event and I was talking with someone. I was telling her about teaching yoga and she said, well, where do you do that? I said, well, I've taught for Torrance Memorial since 2014. And she asked, I told her it's all online. She said, what? She goes, that's amazing that people actually show up and commit to that. And I said, you know what? It really is amazing. And so, pre-pandemic, I had 7 classes. They were almost full. I was almost going to a wait list, not going to be adding any extra classes, although that was being discussed. And then when I think about those of you that have stayed with me for 2.5 years now, it's pretty amazing because this package is degenerating, whether we like it or not. It doesn't matter who you are. There is no get out of jail free cards. There is no free passes. We are degenerating. Our body degenerates. It's what happens. And so we have to go against that grain because over time that will add up to pain and dysfunction and lack of mobility. And then for those of us that have had major injuries or issues or surgeries, we know what that's like to be stopped in our tracks. So first of all, I want you to congratulate yourself for being here. So close your eyes. You showed up here today. Whatever else was happening in your life, you took the time out to show up. Maybe you got dressed for the occasion, maybe not. Maybe you grabbed some props, maybe not. Whatever it is you did to be here, you're here. So let's celebrate that. That's an act of self-love and self-care. And many of us do not spend enough time with self-care or self-love, and we need to, because we have to take care of ourselves. No one else is going to do it, and we can't take care of others until we take care of ourselves. So just in appreciation and gratitude for whatever it took for you to get here today and for you to be here today. That is amazing. So kudos to you. And then go ahead and open your eyes. And then an even deeper aspect of that, who is the you that we're congratulating? When you congratulate, when you think of you, what part of you is looking at you? So maybe a much deeper concept, really. But that's actually how I help myself manage stress, is when the going gets tough, I decide to get going. And when things are too sticky and it's like quicksand, whether it's stressful life events or whatever's happening, instead of wallowing in it, getting stuck in it, I'm like, I'm just gonna step out for a second and just close my eyes, be present moment, not get caught up in the muck and the mire of life. All right, so let's proceed. Let's move on to our backs. Let's ground our mental energy onto the ground or towards the ground. The flatter you put your body, the quicker you stimulate the relaxation healing zone. So I'm going to give you some options today. You will have a strap for the practice for later, and then you'll need a block and you'll need a blanket. So on one level, you could take the blanket and fold the blanket in a roll, and this could be something that you put underneath your spine to open up and to stretch your chest. Or you could take the blanket and fold the blanket maybe in thirds, a little bit more narrow. And this would go on the floor right behind your heart. So this part of your body where your upper chest and upper back was free, and you would not have anything underneath your head. The other option is you have a block, and the block could be behind the shoulder blades, and you'll probably need something behind your head. So the block will go behind the shoulder blades. You could do a horizontal or a vertical block. I usually do horizontal. I think today I'm going to try vertical. And so it will be here. You want this much of your upper back to be free, and it's on the back, on the floor. So I may have to fold my blanket a little bit more when I go down. So choose something so that you are taking this out of your body, because this contributes to a lot of low back discomfort, a lot of hip and a lot of knee issues. And so we want to do something where we can actually stretch our body into a supportive back bend. So choose something today that's appropriate for you. And if you're nursing something or you would rather not go into a deep supported back bend, you could come down onto the ground with your head on the blanket. That is also going to be posturally corrective, to be on the ground with the shoulder blades on the ground, having gravity gently help to stretch the chest, the shoulders, and some of the front of the spine. So then you're going to bring yourself all the way down, whatever that is for you. Take your time to get there. If you do have a block behind your back, it is underneath the heart and the shoulder blades. So the upper part of your body will not be on the block. I like to begin with bent knees because it's a little more forgiving for the low back. And then you're going to need to figure out what support you need for your head. And a blanket can be folded many ways, which is pretty good. Keep your knees bent here and come into a stretch of some sort in the chest, spine, shoulders. Do what's appropriate for you, and then close your eyes. Keep your mouth closed, breathing in and out through your nose, and be very curious, noticing where the stretch is, what is appropriate for you, and take a few breaths to arrive to where you're going to be in your supported back bend. Breathing in and out through the nose, mouth is closed. Noticing where you feel the stretch. And then notice if there's anything in the low back, any sensations. The spine is connected, so when we stretch one part, it will be experienced in a different section. So if you are feeling your low back, press your belly button towards your spine and hug your lumbar spine with your core and low back muscles. Closing your eyes, noticing what you notice. Let's begin to play with tension and release tension in your body and in your mind. On the inhale the word relaxation. On the exhale the word tension. Inhaling relaxation, exhaling tension. Feel tension leaving your body. Feel the heaviness as you let go of holding with each exhale. Inhale relaxation. Let it go to where you feel the most stretching. And on the exhale, release tension. Feel the heaviness. Feel the release. Feel the relaxation that comes in. So use your mind, use the words, and feel the feels. After being in this posture for a few minutes, if you want to explore straightening the legs, maybe there's been some softening taking place. You may even be able to lower the blanket, if that's available to you, behind your head, or whatever it is, coming a little deeper after being here and getting some release and relief coming into your body. Bring your awareness to your throat. We're going to add a slight restriction to the throat, doing the Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, victorious breath. Listen to the sound on the exhale as you make a sigh sound, keeping the mouth closed, like a like H-A, Your mouth is closed. Notice that sound in your throat with each exhalation. Keep your mind in your throat. Finish the breath you're on. Take 5 more breaths, making a ha, H-A, or a sigh sound in your throat with your mouth closed. And then finishing up, letting the breath go. Any last minute movements with the last few breaths. If you can come into a more fully extended, maybe like the shape of a 5-pointed star, reaching through the toes, reaching through the fingers. Stretch your body with some supportive back bend prop underneath you. And then come into a bend knee position. Gently roll off whatever it is you're on to the side. Stay here. Let your spine settle. Noticing what you notice. Take your hand. Bring your hand onto the floor in front of you. Use your hand and your elbow. Don't use your low back. If you use your head to lift up, you're in the back of the body, the side of the body. We want to use the front of the body, the shoulders, the chest muscles, the upper body, maintaining that strength forever in our upper body. So you want you to feel like you're moving towards the floor. Your face comes towards the floor. And then use that hand, use that elbow to push yourself up in the integrity and the strength in the upper body. Taking the time as you move each day to keep different muscles strong. We might have up to 800 muscles in our body. And so we want to make sure we're using as many as possible. And so throughout the day, we have the opportunity to do things different than we have been doing or different than we did yesterday. And that's going to use more muscles or different muscles. Let's take the block off to the side, get the blanket. Bring your blanket into whatever position you need for your knees. So those of you with knee issues may need a little bit of a higher fold. Coming on to all fours. For those with wrist issues, either take the blanket and roll it up and minimize the flexion in your wrist, or keep your hands maybe a little wider and out to the sides, or even trying fists for wrists. And then if you are okay to weight bear in your hands, try to get your pointer fingers to be forward. Really spread your hands here, stretching the wrist, strengthening the wrist, the forearm. Important for healthy aging. Then take your hands forward so you have a lot of length in your torso here. And we're going to bring the awareness to the spine. There's 26 of vertebra in the spine, 26 vertebra. So bring your awareness to the 26 bones in the back of your body. Starting with the tailbone, can you start to point the tailbone up and down as if you were painting on a wall behind you? So let the tailbone gently move. The pelvis starts to tip forward and backwards. This is an anterior and a posterior tilt. This is going to gently start to move the low back spine, which is going to create secretion of fluids in the low back. It's also going to stretch gently the glute muscles and the low back muscles. So the back of your body starting to stretch the back of the body. Maybe noticing some pressure and tension in your hands and your wrists. Look down at your fingers. Push your fingertips into the floor like crazy so that you actually see the white in the fingernails and the white in the tips of your fingers. Then press where the fingers and the hand meet. Start to go a little bit bigger with this movement. Tailbone is pointing down the back wall. Tailbone is pointing up the back wall. Down and up. Try to move so much that your low back comes into a dip. If you were to pour water there, it would stay in the low back. And then strongly paint down the wall so the tailbone points down towards the ground. Try to get the tailbone to point all the way down towards the heels, stretching the low back. Inhale and exhale. Let this be the hips and the pelvis that are moving. Moving the joints of the low back, moving the joints of the hip. One more in each direction. Feel that stretch. And then walk your hands back, come all the way up, take your fingers, notice that tension in the hands, bending the fingers, moving your fingers, try to articulate each joint, 27 bones, 27 joints. Try to articulate as many as you can. open and close. So I'm definitely feeling a lot of tension and work in my forearms. And grip strength is related to some not good aspects of aging. Some of the studies are showing that the weaker hand grip shows many other weaknesses in a person. So we want to keep our hands nice and strong. It's almost like a criteria for looking at a person and looking at where are they in the stages of aging and decline. And grip strength is a studied area to look at level of weakness in someone. So we want to make sure that we focus on this. So we're going to stretch our spine, stretch our back. Now, if you have osteoporosis, making sure you take a lot of special attention to the front of your spine, never compressing and pressing into the front of the spine, always staying nice and open. So let your mind go here always if you have osteoporosis when you're doing movements. We're going to start to bend our hip and stretch our spine. So stay up here, do a little bit of this, and notice what's happening to the tilt of your pelvis. Is your pelvis tilted back so your tailbone's there? Can you correct the tilt of your pelvis, coming more into a neutral or even a posterior tilt to protect the low back? And then bending the hip joint, whatever you can, just getting it lubed up and getting that communication in your brain of where proper bending should take place in the hip. And then bring yourself back. You could put your block here. For some of you may not need this. I want you to begin where you bend your hip, low belly comes towards the top thigh, and you either let your head go on the block, or some of you can let your head go all the way down to the ground. Arms are straight here. Palms are spread. Hands are forward. You may need to widen them to get access to this move. Just try different things. Exhale. You're going to inhale, lift your head, start unbending your hip, bring yourself forward, let your pelvis slowly come towards the ground. Exhale, contract your core, push your belly button towards your spine like you're trying to push yourself away from the ground with your core. Keep your head lifted. The whole exhale brings you back, and the whole inhale brings you forward. Slowly stretching your body, moving through your joints, lubricating your joints. Don't go too far to the ground with your pelvis if the low back doesn't like that. That's an extension position. So close your eyes, be in your body, and move through the range of motion that's appropriate for you. One more, bring yourself back, all the way back. Forehead touches the ground. Trying to get the tailbone to point back and down, stretching your spine, stretching your armpit, your chest. Take one more breath. Then you're going to take your hands, you're going to walk your hands over to the right. So let the hands go over to the right, let the arms stay straight. And then let the head rest on the left arm. Push the pelvis to the left. Feel that stretch down the left side of your body. Try to point the tailbone down towards the floor, towards the back edge of your mat. Posterior pelvic tilt, protecting your low back. Take one more breath. You're going to bring yourself through center. So we're stretching our body, stretching our joints. This can be what helps to relieve pain for many and keep us out of pain for a long time.
Take your hands over to the left, let your head rest on your right arm. Push your hips to the right. Feel that stretch coming into the right side of the body, pointing the tailbone down towards the floor behind you. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back to center. Let your head rest on the ground. Take one more breath. And then leading with your head,
Bring yourself up. Bring yourself into a rest position so you can notice what you notice here. Close your eyes. Catching your breath, noticing what you're noticing. And then gently blink your eyes open. So when we do the physical practice of yoga in a seated position or on all fours, when we're away from the ground, we're actually weight bearing in joints. And so we're putting even more forces for stretching. So we can get a deeper stretch when we are doing that weight bearing aspect. And so it's important that you notice what is your safe range of motion. And when you're in the posture, if you could close your eyes, connect to your breath, be very present moment, you can keep yourself safe. And what I've noticed is that not always during the practice do I notice the benefits. It's when I get off of the mat, when I finish the practice, then I notice, wow, I feel good, or I feel like so open, or I'm not having discomfort in an area that I would have had discomfort. So let's move on. We're going to be in a seated position, using the body weight to stretch the low back, stretch the hips. And this is important for posture, for alignment, and then for reducing pain and discomfort off the mat. So we're going to take the blanket and fold the blanket at least double, and even better would be again, so pretty high. So depending on what's going on in your body. And then if you do have any hip issues, when you come into the crisscross leg position, if you have any hip issues, you could use blocks to support the weight of your knees. Or if knees don't like to bend, you could bring yourself into the Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, or even the legs are straight. So choosing what's appropriate for you and your body. Coming onto the blanket, come to the very front edge, and then reach under and grab the flesh. So you move your flesh back, your big glute muscles back, and you expose your pelvis, and then feel yourself sitting on the pelvis. Bring yourself nice and upright, wiggle around a little, get your footing, not with feet, it's your tushy, get your tushy-ing, feel yourself there. So we're going to begin with Sufi grinds. We're going to move around in a circular pattern, taking your spine, it's connected to the pelvis. We're going to go in a circular pattern. Let's begin with a counterclockwise motion. And I wanted to see if you could feel your weight distributing around the perimeter of your pelvis. So hold on to your thighs, or wherever you hold on to, shins, thighs, depending on what position you're in. Start to go slowly in a really slow circle. Forward, side, back, side, counterclockwise. This is my counterclockwise. So we may be mirroring each other. You're going to go, and then you're going to start to get a little bit bigger. And I want you to let your mind go down to your tushy. See if you could feel the weight moving around, forward, side, back. And then close your eyes. Try to go to the perimeter of your full circle, your capability of moving in a circular pattern. Close your eyes and explore and notice, where do you feel the stretches? And then you could use your hands on your legs to push down so that you get tall in your spine. You're not collapsing your spine is long. See if you could feel the hips, the low back. And let's slow this down. The next time you come forward, inhale. Next time you go back is an exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more circle all the way around. And then bring yourself back up to center. Stay there, get tall, find length in all 26 vertebrae. Heart is lifted, head is on top of your spine. Let's go in the other direction now, clockwise. Begin with slow circles. Noticing what you notice. Close your eyes. Does it feel even on both sides? Go all the way down into your glutes so you feel the weight going around. Do you feel the weight transferring? Side, front, side, back. Do you notice any stretching in your hip joint or low back? Starting to make your circles a little bigger. Let your heart be lifted, front spine is open and lengthened. Feel the fluidity of your body rolling around, moving the weight around in a clockwise position or pattern. And then slowing down, inhale when you come forward, exhale when you go back. Notice if it's smooth. And then finish one more complete circle. And then bring yourself back to center. Get nice and tall. Close your eyes, noticing what you notice. And then open your eyes. Let's take the legs straight. You could use your hands to let the blood come back up and down. Rub your knees if you'd like, especially if you have knee issues. Take your thumbs on the inner knee joint here, the adductor muscle group, the tendinous part of that muscle group. It's called pes anserinus. It attaches right around here in the inner knee. And if you're really tight here in your adductors, which can happen if you have knee issues, can happen if you have hip issues, can happen if you have low back issues, can happen if you have postural issues. If you're tight here in your adductors, this is going to pull on this area and have an effect on the knee. Can also be from the foot because everything is connected. So take your thumbs and dig in a little deep here. Give yourself a little massage, move around some stuff here in that area of your body, that inner knee area. And then come around to the top of your patella. It's a floating bone inside of tendons and muscles. Move your thumb around your kneecap. And then we're going to come into some spinal stretches. So bring your legs like you're going to come into a crisscross. One leg is going to come forward because that's one that always does. And we're going to switch. Bring the other leg forward. May feel a little odd, trying to shift things and not do the same thing over and over, creating new patterns in our body. So we're going to do a little lateral side bending here of your spine. We're going to open up the part of the spine underneath the armpit. So this is truly a side bend, and it's not about how far you get. So I don't want you to collapse. I don't want rotation to enter your spine. So let's begin with some gentle side to side. Try to keep the arms pretty far behind your body, either with the elbows or with the hands, depending on what your shoulders would prefer. Inhale up. Exhale out. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to return. Let your gaze start to look up if you can. There'll be a little bit of neck strengthening. It can also be aggravating for some, so make sure that it's appropriate if you do it. And then go a little farther if you can. Letting the hands go a little farther away, going deeper, getting some of the side waist muscles to stretch. These are low back muscles that attach to the pelvis and to the lower ribs. And then bring yourself back to center, bring yourself out. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Take out any tension. Let's bring in some rotation. Let it be just the head that moves. Let the head look side to side as far as you can without turning your torso. Look up and back. And now start letting your trunk rotate. So you could use your hands on your thighs to get a little bit more rotation, up and back. Feel that stretch all the way down to your hips. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the hands on the floor behind you. Push down and lift your chest up. Either be on the heel of the hands or the fingertips. Sitting back a little, letting your body weight go back. Stretching your chest. Lift your chest up. Be on the heel of the hands. Maybe you'll even feel a stretch in your forearms and your wrists. Noticing what you notice in your body. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Take your legs straight. Shake your legs. Let the blood come back into the legs. So let's take one leg, bend one leg. Let the foot come up close to the groin, so as close to your body as possible. In some variations of this, they actually sit with the heel pressing into the perineum to create certain stimulation. So trying to get the foot to come up as high as your body will let you. Your knee needs to bend, your hips externally rotated. So depending on what issues you may have, you'll do what you can do. Long spine for this, we're going to add rotation and extension in our spine. You could take your hand on the inner leg, making sure that the upper chest is pushing and lifting open, so you're not collapsing in your chest here. Always keeping the front spine. For those of you that have the flexibility to hold onto your toe with a straight spine, so not holding onto your toe and rounding your spine to get there, but being able to hold on and have a nice straight spine. You can either hold on or put your arm inside, it doesn't matter, they're both good. Let's take your thumb, bring your thumb in front of you, exhale, and then inhale, follow the gaze with the thumb the whole way. Exhale back to center, keep your head lifted. Inhale to open. Exhale back. Push your heart forward, keep the front spine nice and long. Inhale. Exhale. This is also good for balance because it's the visual and the vestibular part of the balance receptors, the eyes, the ears, where's your body in space, tracking. The next one, you're going to come and stay here. Reach long with your arm, long with your spine, lift your heart. Take one more breath. And then bring your arm down. Come back up. Let's go to the other side. Leg is straight. Foot is bent. Let your body enter this position. You're either going to bring your arm on the inside or you're going to hold onto the toe, making sure you're not rounding to get there. You're not collapsing. You're lifted and lengthened. Bring your thumb in front of you. Take an exhale. We inhale to open and to lengthen and to receive breath. Exhale back. On the next one, we're going to stay. Come and stay and hold. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring yourself out. Come all the way. Take your legs, shake your legs. All right. So let's grab our strap. And put your strap around your feet, making sure not to round your back. So you could bend your knees if you need to get a little bit closer. And then take your feet so that they're hip distance, they're not touching. The soles of the feet are pressing away from you. Take your hands, wrap your hands around your strap so that your elbows are right underneath your shoulders or even behind your body, depending on how long your strap is. Push into the pinky toe edges of the strap. Push the feet away from you. Push the feet down into the ground. Push the heels into the ground. Tall spine. Shoulder blades are sliding towards each other. Shoulder blades are towards each other, sliding down towards the pelvis. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Press your legs into the ground. Get as tall as you can in your spine. Look forward and up and lift your heart. Breathe down to your pelvis. Take one more breath. And then slowly release. Take the strap off to the side. Grab your block. Let's take your legs wide, really, really wide. Come to the very front edge of your blanket, even maybe like you feel like you're falling, and that's especially for those of you that have a tightness, noticing what you notice here. Maybe you feel inner thighs or back behind your legs. Take your block, bring your block right in front of your belly. Take your hands on your block and push down so you could get length in your spine. Elbows can be underneath your shoulders, or you can push down with elbows out to the side. So do what's appropriate for you. Push down to get tall. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other, slide the shoulder blades down towards the ground. For those of you that want to do a little forward flexion at the hip joint, if you can, keeping your spine straight, making sure you don't round your spine, bring yourself forward into a forward fold, as long as it's happening at the hip joint and not at the spine. Maybe even coming onto your block with your forearms to push down to get that length in your spine. Push your hands together, elbows into the block, pushing down with length. Front spine is long and open. And then dig your heels in, flex your feet. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Let's take the soles of the feet together. We're going to come into turtle posture. Soles of the feet are together. Your hands go down through, and then you bring your hands underneath your legs. So if you have osteoporosis, you have to be careful with the front of your spine. So most people with osteoporosis, I would say, do not do this unless I was with someone and I could really make sure that the front of their spine was staying nice and lengthened. If you don't have osteoporosis and you know that, the lower you go, and you can add some flexion where you do round your spine with length. Push your tailbone into the floor or on the blanket. Push your hands into the floor and your hands into your legs, and lengthen your spine from tailbone to low ribs. Feel the stretch in the low back. You may even want to come in towards the full version where you hold on to your feet, and then you can bring your head towards your feet. This is flexion in the spine. I do not recommend this for osteoporosis. Feel the stretch wherever you do. Stretching the low back. Take one more breath. Lead with your head. Open the spine. Bring yourself up. Take your legs straight. Shake your legs. Yoga is a tremendous practice for stretching the body, and it does stretch the body. And you need to be careful because these are tissues. And when we are working our muscles or stretching our muscles, there's microscopic tears that are happening in the muscle. You want to make sure it's appropriate so that your body can repair whatever tears are taking place into the new length and shape of your muscle. But you also want to be careful that you don't do too much. So you have to become your own yoga therapist and be inside your body and figure out what the appropriate movement patterns are for you. So let's come up, take the blanket, bring the blanket onto the ground. So we're gonna move into plank, strengthening our form. You choose a forearm version, full plank, whatever you'd like. Legs can come off the floor if you'd like. It's your 1 minute of strength training that you're choosing for yourself. So I'm gonna do the dolphin today, the forearm. I'm gonna use the block to really get that shape in my body. So you could do the full version or come down with me into the forearm version. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. And then I'm going to lift both of my knees off. You decide what's appropriate for your body. Pushing away from the ground with the arms, pushing into the block, making sure that all 5 toes on both feet are pushing into the ground, and then push through the center of your heels and lengthen from tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. Deep breaths. If you want to lift one leg off at a time, you can, or stay with both down. It's up to you. It's your practice. One more breath. And then bring yourself down either into a sphinx, if you were in the dolphin, or you could come up into a puppy dog, bending your hip, letting your tushy go back. We're all going to come up to a seated position. So roll onto your side from here. Bend your knees if you're on the ground, and bring yourself up. Take your block off to the side, and then come all the way up. So let's lengthen our body using weight bearing from being in this position. Let's stretch our foot, our ankle, our side body. This is called gate latch posture. You take your foot to the side, and this is not always easy to get to. So even getting in, maybe you're not able to even get into the full expression. Can you get your foot to be perpendicular to your leg? Toes are forward, pinky toe edge is aligned with the edge of your mat. Right here at the hip joint, we're going to bend the hip joint here, stretching the muscles of the hips. And sometimes tight hips can relate to low back issues. So feeling that stretch coming into your hips, maybe moving forward and backwards, tilting the pelvis, or swaying the pelvis side to side. Keep the foot on the ground active, so grab the floor with the feet and the toes. And then come into the position so you bend as much as you can, trying to get your pelvis to be straight, bending right at that hip joint. Take your hand down. Take your other hand. Let's bring the hand behind the head. Exhale. Inhale, slide the hand down the leg and the elbow up towards the sky. Exhale back. Inhale to lengthen. Reach as close to your foot as you can with that hand. One more, you're going to come up and stay up. Lift your heart forward, tailbone pointing down towards the ground. Try to unbend the hip that you're standing on. That standing leg, really lift and open up that side. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back up. Bring yourself out. Let your body calibrate. Let's come to the other side. Take your foot out to the side. And do what you need to do here, swaying forward and back, whatever you need to do to feel that stretch coming into the hip joint and the pelvis. It's important to enter stretches and to let your body know what's happening so that the protection and the seizing doesn't happen and your body will let you go a little deeper. So be nice to your body. Then come into the position where you are as close to upright as possible, getting that bend to come into the side of that hip joint. Take your hand down that leg, opposite hand behind your head. Exhale, lift your heart, lengthen your spine, and then inhale. Elbow up towards the sky, fingertips down towards the foot. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to come back. And on your next one, you're going to stay. Stay here. Lift your heart. Press your elbow back. Try to unbend the hip that you're standing on. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to neutral. You're going to come into a rest position. For some of you, that may be up here. For others whose knees are okay bending, it could be down here. Close your eyes, catch your breath. Take one more breath. And then open your eyes. Let's come down onto the ground. Blanket up to the top, strap handy. Bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Draw the knees into the chest and rock side to side. And bring your feet down to the ground. So in order to take care of our low back, we need to stretch the aspects that attach to the low back. So we want to stretch the legs here. So you could either bring one leg in at a time and warm up one leg at a time, or you could do both. Lengthening and contracting the back of the legs. And then bring yourself down. Get the strap. Bring the strap on the right foot. Take your strap on your foot and move your strap, flossing the foot. Feel the heat generate. And then come to the center of your foot, wrap your hand around. Let's draw the knee in towards the chest, bending the knee. Try to get nice alignment here, pushing your heel up towards the sky. Inhale, and then exhale to straighten the leg or towards straight. Inhale to bend. Go slow. Feel that stretch coming in the back thigh. Next one, you're going to hold, stay here. If you could be straight leg, try that. Draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Do what's appropriate for you. Feel that stretch behind the thigh, right where the leg attaches to the pelvis. Push your pelvis into the ground. That'll deepen the stretch. And take one more breath. Then bring the left foot up. Floss. And then come to the center. Bend the knee deeply towards your body. Try to have the kneecap facing your shoulder, toes pulling towards you, and the sole of the foot up towards the sky. Exhale and inhale. And then exhale to unbend. Inhale to bend. Go slow, noticing what you notice. On your next one, you're going to hold, stay there. And then go ahead and release. Take your strap off, bring your strap to the side. Hands on the belly, noticing what you notice about your body. We're going to move into a twist, and twisting can be some of the best movements for low back, and it can also be what pokes the monster of pain in the low back. So you have to transmit safety to your body when you're entering a posture, and rotation of the trunk stretches the back muscles, the core, and these are the muscles that are always in that protective mode for the low back. So let's go into this with awareness. Get your block, walk your feet closer to your body, lift your pelvis up, take your pelvis, just move your pelvis, keep the rib cage where it is. Push the pelvis over to the right, wherever it'll go, and then let the pelvis be on the ground. Bring the block to the left hand, the right arm is out to the side. Draw the left knee in, contract your core, right knee in. Legs are really high. And then you're going to start to let your legs go over to the left. Keep your rib cage on the ground. Keep your right shoulder blade on the ground. So take the block. Maybe it needs to go underneath your knees, or maybe you could get your legs all the way down to the floor and still keep your rib cage on the ground, your shoulder blade on the ground. So trying to keep the rib cage on the ground when you're rotating to the left. If you want to go a little deeper, take the left hand on top of the right leg, drawing the right knee towards the left leg or towards the ground. Rotation. Close your eyes and breathe down to your right side. Take one more big breath to the right side of your body. Let go of the tension, let go of holding onto your leg. Draw the right knee into your chest. Press your belly button towards your spine, low back towards the ground, and then let the left leg come in. Put your feet down on the ground, lift your pelvis up, put it back to a neutral position, hand on the belly, noticing what you notice. Go ahead and get your block, bring your block into your right hand. Press your upper arms into the ground, keep your rib cage where it is, lift your pelvis off and push your pelvis over to the left. Draw the right knee in and the left knee. Slowly letting your legs go towards the ground. Keep the left shoulder blade on the ground. So you don't want the left shoulder blade to leave. So if it does at any point, you may need to put the block underneath your knees or in between your knees, depending on what's going on in your body. Rotation. If you'd like to take the right hand onto left leg, you can. You could also deepen the twist by letting the head look towards the left, eyes are closed. Deep breaths here. Breathe to your left side. Deep breaths to the left. Take one more deep breath. Draw the left knee up, contract your core. Right knee follows. Push your feet into the floor. Lift your pelvis up. Bring your pelvis back down to neutral. Bring your hands on your belly. So we're going to come into Shavasana integration, letting everything we did in the practice become a new memory, releasing tension, bringing in relaxation, bringing in spaciousness. You could bring your arms down and let your legs go straight or keep your knees bent. Up to you, your practice, your Shavasana.
Kariyam, Kariyam, Name Kame, Govinde Mukande, Udare Apare, 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 Kariyam, Kariyam, Name Kame. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Move your hands, your feet, your arms and your legs. Draw your knees into your chest, side to side. Come onto your side. Use your hand and your elbow to push yourself away and up to a seated position. Closing your eyes, bring your hands together at your heart. Press your hands to your heart to your hands. Long neck, long spine, lifted heart. Let's close with a gentle humming sound. Exhale. Inhale. In gratitude, thank you, namaste. All right, Nancy, I hope that you feel good after that practice. That was a lot of back focus, core, back, healthy aging. Hi, Dana. I think it was Dana, right? Oh, and you're in the evening. Where are you? Gosh, voice healing. That just sounds so amazing. We could all use a little voice healing. Mantras. Where are you? Switzerland. Wow. Not been to Switzerland. Want to come there. Well, thank you for joining us. I hope that was appropriate for you. So I wanted to tell you all that I have a balance challenge going on in the month of October. Each month I'm going to be doing a balance challenge. Each month I'm doing a challenge, and it's a self-challenge. It's something for you to do 30 days where you actually monitor your progress. That's my website. My homepage has the sign up, and you'll sign up. There's a printout with a calendar to keep track. And there are videos explaining different options for you to choose to challenge yourself. This month is balance. Next month will be strength. And it's really fun because we normally don't do stuff like that. And if you take something to challenge yourself with, then after 30 days, if you're keeping track, you'll actually notice not only improvement,
but so many other things along the journey of a challenge, a self-challenge. And there's a Facebook group I post daily on there. So we're actually interactive about our experiences. So I'd love to have you join me if you're not in it already. Okay, you'll email me later. Perfect, Nancy. Oh, you are in it. Okay, that's awesome. Well, that's great. So thank you for being here, everyone. And I hope you feel good. I am happy. So thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Tomorrow I teach yoga for osteoporosis. So if you would like a stronger physical practice, come to that, whether you have osteoporosis or not. And that is it. So I hope to see you all. I did share that, right? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day or evening. And I'll see you all later. Bye.